Good morning, Raptor freaks. Alexiot's here, and it's Sunday, and we are playing the Wizards today at 3 p.m. in Washington. It is the fourth preseason game for the Raptors. They played 4 games in this last week. In fact, this will complete an every other day schedule for the Raptors of travel, starting in Vancouver, going to Sacramento, then to Toronto, and now to Washington, D.C. This will be the first preseason game for the Wizards. They are only playing 3 preseason games, and we're playing 6. I have the latest lineup news and the ref report and all the regular stuff, the key to the path to the victory of the game, all kinds of fun stuff on the Raptor Freak stream. Let's get to it right now. Wow. All right, first of all, let me go look at the lineups, guys. Of course, we've had major sit-outs in the last game with all the starters sitting out and different things, but they're all listed right now, but that doesn't mean they're not going to play. Darko said in the interview after the game on Friday night that Jakob and Scotty and the other guys who aren't hurt could very well play today. So expect some of your starters back today, but maybe not. I don't know. It's preseason, and in some ways, they're going to do whatever they need to do to investigate the roster, to figure out what they need to do for training camp decisions for the season. And that may be we're figuring out who's going to get the last training camp spot. We're trying to figure out who's going to be in the rotation regularly and stuff like that. And it may not be totally necessary for them to get all players out there, certain players out there. I still want to see all 5 of the Raptors starters play together because we still have not achieved that. I don't know if the Wizards on the road on this trip is the one that will happen on, especially since it's an afternoon game. So I think it's more likely tonight, if I'm really prognosticating, that the starters may not play again. And we really do see the same kind of team out there as we did on Friday night against Boston. So Colin Murray-Boyles is listed on the injury list for his elbow. He was absent from practice yesterday, apparently, according to Michael Grange. That's not good. And Shamshay is listed still also. It's his hand, but they don't say what it is. So, yeah, the other guys, the starters, Jakob, Scotty, RJ, Manuel, they're all only listed on here just for missing the game to be sitting out. And Brandon's not even listed on here. So there you go. Let's go look at the Wizards, guys. This is a team we have not seen. Somebody made the joke yesterday. This is going to be Sar versus Sar, Olivier versus Alex. And, well, I made a joke that, well, if we're going to have 2 SARs, we better not go revert back to early 2000s Toronto with a SARS epidemic. That's a bad joke, Lex. We don't need no SARS epidemic. That's bad. That's bad. Alex Sarr is listed on the injury list for the Wizards this morning, guys. It's his calf. And he's expecting to play today against the Raptors, is what Josh Robbins of The Athletic is reporting. His calf is nagging and bugging him, but he is expected to suit up and play for the Wizards today. So Alex Sarr, Olivier Sarr battle, yeah, it's still on. We'll have to see what happens. Also listed on the injury reserve is A.J. Johnson, formerly of the Milwaukee Bucks, got traded there last year in the Chris Middleton trade. Wizards general manager Will Dawson said that Johnson will be limited for the start of training camp with a leg bruise. So we'll have to see if A.J. Johnson shows up. And the other name on the Wizards injury list is Bilal Coulibaly. He's out. He's got a messed up thumb, and he's not going to be back for a few weeks. He's going to be reevaluated later. So the exciting young Frenchman, friend of Wemby, is not going to be playing today for sure. For sure, no Bilal. We'll have to see with A.J. Johnson, and it's probable that Alex Sarr will play. So who are the Wizards this year? There has been a shuffle around with the Wizards a bit. Of course, they've been lauded as one of the best young teams by ESPN and other people because of their drafting in recent years. And they do have a lot of exciting young players. But let's see who they are. Their starting lineup, they're starting this year slotting at point guard, Bub Carrington. Bub Carrington, of course, is a second-year player. He just played his rookie year last year. And to me, he wasn't really totally a true point guard. He's really more of a combo guard. We'll have to see how that goes. It may be very more likely that the surly veteran, former leader of the Players Association, C.J. McCollum, is handling the ball and making more of the decisions. He is the slotted starting shooting guard right now, but he's already publicly said he wants to get the hell out of Washington. So CJ McCollum, you're still there for right now. The other veteran on this team, it's really CJ and the man who was exiled from Milwaukee last year, Chris Middleton. So you got CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton and pretty much a whole bunch of youngsters. Maybe you can count Corey Kispert as a veteran too. Yeah, I guess Corey Kispert would count as a veteran also. But a lot of youth otherwise. You know, there's no more Kyle Kuzma. There's some of the veterans that they had last year are not there anymore. And it's just CJ and Chris and Corey, really. Bilal is slotted at power forward, but he's out already. So it's likely that Canadian-Swiss player Keyshawn George, who played for Canada at AmeriCup, will be likely slotted in at the starting power forward tonight. Today, I should say, because the game's at 3 p.m. So we'll get to see some Canadian content in George. And hopefully he can play a little cleaner than he did at AmeriCup. Maybe not. Who cares? We want them to lose. Alex Sarr is their starting center. Off their bench, they've got a couple of Johnsons. Trey Johnson, A.J. Johnson. Cam Whitmore has moved from Houston to Washington. He'll be on their bench. Corey Kispert, as I named, the longtime Wizard, and he's probably one of their more veteran guys. Tristan Vucevic is their backup center. He'll be back. Justin Champagnie is on the Wizards still, and he will be available for the Wizards today. Anthony Gill is another player they have. Malachi Branham from the Spurs is on this team now. Marvin Bagley III is on the depth chart for the center's position for them, somewhere buried deep on the bench. So the Wizards are looking very young with a little splash of Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum. This team is worse than they were last year. Even if they have gains with their young players, the direction of what to do and how to be a winning team is just not there. Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum aren't the kind of players that will help the team have that right kind of winning ability. They're just not. They're both mainly shooters, and they're not as much facilitators. CJ McCollum may be a little bit of a facilitator if he really tries hard, but that is not enough for this team to energize it. And those youngsters, as much as they're talented and they have a potential down the road, they still don't really know what the fuck they're doing. So the Wizards are going to be bad. They're going to be bad. And I think we could sit the guys we sat on Friday night and still kick the Wizards' ass today. And that's what I hope happens, honestly. I don't think it's worth it to put Scotty and them out there for this team. I'm just going to say that. And anybody who's upset about it, you know, don't get upset about it. It's preseason. Once again, we're doing 6 preseason games. And our starters have played in a couple of these games already. So, yeah, let's go look at the refs. We're going to go right into the introductory stuff because I know some people just want to see the ref and the latest lineup news when they watch me. We have a pretty good ref crew today. Of course, most cases, when you're playing the Wizards, they're going to favor you over the Wizards because the Wizards have a bad win percentage as a franchise. And this is really where I get these percentages. Once again, I want to remind everybody when I do the ref report, it's an unscientific methodology that is kind of just I take the winning percentages of the refs with the teams that are involved and we compare them. And, you know, that's not controlling for strength of schedule, home or away, all kinds of different factors. But it is controlling for just the general variance of being an NBA ref and having games come out in the results. So you can see somewhat a little bit of, you know, where maybe the Raptors have luck with the referee or unlucky with the referee. And, you know, in some ways it is telling and it does help. And I have been able to connect the numbers that I talk about this morning with the outcomes in the games with the referee's decisions. So this, I want to put that warning out first, is that I know some people are like, well, why you do this on the ref report? Why does it even fucking matter? Well, it does, because, you know, you'd be shocked just how much I can accurately kind of game what the ref influence in the game is going to be for tonight. And that's why I do this. Ray Acosta is the head crew chief for the game today. Ray Acosta, number 54 out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. His 8th season as an NBA ref. His favorite TV show is The Sopranos. He likes the movie Scarface. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He likes to eat anything Italian. He watches Netflix. He'd most like to visit the Maldives. His bucket list is to be in a shark tank surrounded by great white sharks in Australia. And his hidden talent is dancing. Ray Acosta, have you ever thought about doing Dancing with the Stars? Maybe. That may be funny. NBA referee, Ray Acosta. You know, Adam Silver may be like, no, Ray, you can't be on Dancing with the Stars, guy. No, we don't want you guys trying to make yourselves famous outside of things. No, you need to be a nameless person because people don't want to know too much about you. But we'll put out all your information on our referee's website so that Raptors Freak can read all your likes every morning. But yeah, no, you can't be on Dancing with the Stars, though, because you may become famous. And we don't want refs to be famous. Ray Acosta has officiated 375 regular season games and 2 playoff games in 7 seasons as an NBA staff official. He made his playoff debut as an NBA ref in 2022-2023 season. Now, Ray is the worst ref for the Raptors today statistically, but he still favors us. We win 44% of our games. He's in the red zone, and that's lower than our franchise average for our whole entire Raptors history. The Raptors have a 47% winning percentage in the 30 years of playing, and Ray Acosta has a 44% win with us. So he is below the average. He isn't normally a nice ref to us, but in this situation, the Wizards are so bad, we absolutely have the favor here. So 44-24, 24% winning with the Wizards, Ray Acosta. Yeah, that means less than 1 out of 4 games they win when he's present. So 44-24 is a split with the head ref, Ray Acosta. The second ref is a superstar. He's one of our favorite refs. We have not seen him in a couple of years. It's actually crazy. They did not let this man referee us last year. And I was upset about that because we love this guy. We love this guy. This guy is one of the top 5 refs for the Raptors in the NBA right now. And that's Dedrick Taylor, man. Dedrick Taylor, number 21, is 11th season out of Miami, Florida. He likes the show Good Times. That's a really good show. And man, I was so sad that Dee died this summer. Like the actress that played Sweet Dee, that's such a sassy mouth. She was so funny, man. Such a quick wit and so good in that show. I was so sad when she was gone, man. That's crazy. But yeah, Good Times, Crash. Michael Jackson is his favorite musician also. So we got 2 Michael Jackson lovers. Maybe they can go see that Michael Jackson play or something like that. Favorite book, Tears We Cannot Stop. Favorite meal, breakfast. Favorite app, Candy Crush. We'd most like to visit Africa. Bucket list, skydiving, and hidden talent, playing the trumpet and juggling. Did I mess that up? She's not on Good Times. She's on What's Happening, right? I apologize for that. That happens, right? Good Times and What's Happening get mixed up. She was on What's Happening. She wasn't on Good Times. Good Times to JJ Walker. Good Times to JJ Walker. What's Happening was rerun. Yeah, I apologize for that. That's an honest mistake, though, right? Dedrick Taylor has officiated 568 regular season games and 4 playoff games in 10 seasons as an NBA staff official. Dedrick used to be a UPS driver, and that's what he was before a ref. Now, Dedrick is, like I said, one of the top 5 refs for the Raptors. He's right up at the top of the spreadsheet. He's in the pink zone, is what I call it, which means he's in the 600% winning percentages. So we win 64% of our games with Dedrick. 64%. He's really is a friendly ref to us. Meanwhile, the Wizards, they have actually a really good percentage with him also, 42%. And the Wizards don't have a good winning percentage as a franchise. So he's helpful to them too, but he's more helpful to us. So yeah, salute Dedrick Taylor. It'll be nice to see you ref a Raptors game again for the first time in a couple of years. The third ref is Matt Myers. He'll be the junior ref tonight, number 43. He's in his 7th year out of St. Louis. His favorite TV show is The Wire. He likes the Shawshank Redemption. His favorite musician is Jay-Z. His favorite book is A Promised Land. He eats buffalo wings. He plays Words with Friends. He'd most like to visit Bora Bora. His bucket list is to attend the Masters, and his hidden talent is golf. Matt Myers has officiated 233 regular season games in 6 seasons as an NBA staff official. Now, he is in the middle. He's in the blue zone, which is in the 50%. So we have a good winning record with him. We win 55% of our games when Matt Myers is present. And the Wizards win 36% of their games. So all three refs favor the Raptors winning percentage-wise, but that's to be expected in this situation when it's the Wizards. That's just to be expected. Not a bad crew at all. Ray Acosta can be a jerk. He can be a little unfair to the Raptors at times, but in this situation, I don't see it. And the other two refs are very friendly to the Raptors. So yeah, there's your ref report for today. It's Ray Acosta, Dedrick Taylor, and Matt Myers. Not a bad ref crew at all. Of course, the Blue Jays are playing today also. And well, let me put it on because it's important. That's right. ALCS Game 1. Blue Jays and Mariners. Game 1 at 8 o'clock tonight at Rogers Center. And I'm excited. I'm not going to watch the game once again, but let's go Blue Jays. Let's put our best foot forward in this first game, get the bats going, and win. It's great. The Seattle Mariners took a little bit of delay to get to the city yesterday, so they didn't get some of the pre-practice that they might have wanted yesterday because there was a flight delay flying from the West to Toronto. So, well, this is a very quick turnaround after a marathon-long game against the Detroit Tigers on Friday night. So maybe there is a little bit of scrambling for the Mariners franchise going from one series to come to play us in this next series. The Blue Jays are favored by ESPN and the matchup predictor this morning to beat the Mariners tonight. 54%, I think, is their favored in this one. So, yeah, let's go Blue Jays. Let's get that first W in this round tonight. And go Gosman. That's right. That's what I was saying. Trevor Jay's in the chat. First in the chat with his words of wisdom. Thank you, Commissioner Trevor Jay. Please understand, bad chapters can still create good stories, great stories. Wrong parts can still lead to the right places. Did you say wrong pants? Failed dreams can still create successful people. Sometimes it takes losing yourself to find yourself. Man, Eckhart Tolle, the spiritual philosopher, new age philosopher of our times, you know, there are still philosophers in our lifetime right now, like a Socrates or a Plato. You know, there are people out there that are, you know, thinking about things on a deeper level about existence and happiness and everything. And Eckhart is one of those guys. And one of the things he says, and he said, I've heard his lesson a lot, is that we all grow and learn and get more present from adversity, from uncomfortableness, from not necessarily good things happening to us. And, you know, in some ways we can become a more complete version of ourselves in adversity because we have to be somebody in that moment to survive. And yeah, it's a very interesting thing. You know, it's kind of like when you're on your deathbed and you're dying. Some people come to realizations near the end of their life about, you know, how they spent their life and maybe all absolute truths about the life. You know, like when you're getting close to, you know, passing on, there's some absolute truths that are revealed to you near the end that maybe change your perspective on everything. And some of it may be sometimes people say, I wasted my whole entire life from what they figured out right at the end. It's very interesting. I don't know. This is interesting words of wisdom, Trevor. I don't know if that's the right way to expound on it that I just did, but that's what I was inspired to say after reading it. I appreciate you, Commissioner Fun, Trevor J. I do. Yeah. He's saying the new open gym opened yesterday. That's right. We had an open gym episode drop yesterday. It's about 15 minutes, and it covers a training camp in Calgary and the Canada Series game in Vancouver against the Denver Nuggets. And it was very good. In fact, I have a couple of interesting things I want to talk about it. We'll see what Trevor wanted to say about it. He's saying Brandon Ingram said that the Raptors organization is top notch. He also thanked his teammates, making him better on both sides of the court. Brandon, yeah, he had an extended part in this episode of Open Gym, and it looks like the next episode is completely about him. Brandon talking about being very anxious to play. He's sick of practicing and playing just against his teammates. They've done a really good job of getting him better offensively and defensively, but he's anxious to play other teams. And, well, he's gotten a chance to twice this week now. And, well, maybe hopefully he'll get a chance to play again today. We'll have to see. But I did like everything that Brandon was saying. You know, he said that we're a top-notch organization because of communication. And I think that when he says that, he's talking about how in the Pelicans there was a lot of confusion and just not organized. And it's probably a huge difference for him to be on the Raptors where we got our shit together. We got a coaching staff and everything that just really runs efficiently and well all together. And that's just really what he wants. He doesn't want to waste his life as an NBA player. He doesn't waste his vital years as a player, goofing around on the Pelicans if they ain't got their shit straight and organized right. So being in Toronto and being on our team with the way we run things is really, really, he feels good about that. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, Brandon's in heaven. He's in basketball heaven. And I'm honestly, we see in the next episode, we're going to see how he rehabbed with Dr. Alex. And that's going to be very interesting. They're going to show the injury in New Orleans. They're going to show him talking about how he's worried about losing his career forever. And then the long road back and where we're back to now. It's going to be a very inspiring open gym. And it'll probably answer a lot of questions to people about the severity of his ankle injury in this last year. And probably tell a lot of cynics and maybe idiots that thought, oh, he's not really hurt. How the hell could you be out for this long because of an ankle injury? He's been out since December the 6th. How the fuck has he been out this long? Some people were like that last year near the end of the season. Well, in this episode of Open Gym, you're going to get your answers for how Brandon Ingram was not able to be on the court for most of this past year. So that'll be good. The things that I really liked in this episode was the pep talk at the beginning of Welcome to Training Camp from Bobby and Darko. We see the Raptors convening in a ballroom to do a presentation with the general manager, head of basketball operations, Bobby Webster, and Darko Rajakovic. Darko comes in and he says, hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Now I want to start off with Bobby. Bobby, do you have some words that you want to say? And Bobby comes up. And this is an interesting little segment on Open Gym because this is where Masai would be right there. And we miss you, Masai. Masai, you know what? It was such a dumb move what Rodgers did. And forever, Masai Ujiri, his fingerprints will always be all over the Raptors culture and we the North and what we've done in the last 12 years going forward still. But this is where we would have seen Masai, but we see Bobby instead. And we get a chance to see how Bobby is going to do this spiritual lift up kind of pep talk, kind of like as a leader of the Raptors. And he did good. He was really good. I liked it. He was short and sweet and no bullshit. He's basically saying, I don't want to say a whole lot, guys, but there are a couple things that are non-negotiable. You have to do these things, and this is what I expect of you. And he said, play hard and play smart. And the way he went about it is play hard. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Just play hard, but play smart may be a little bit tougher for you to figure out. In some ways, that's why I want you to dwell on things for a moment before every game or every day on what are you doing for the Raptors and what is your role and what are you supposed to be doing and what is Darko asking you to do? I thought that was really telling and interesting to hear Bobby, how he does his pep talk for them and how he's kind of like the leader and how he's saying this is the accountability. This is the stuff that we're expecting. And honestly, I'm the GM. And if you don't fucking do this, I might trade your ass this year. That's basically what that is. But he does it in a very like positive way. And he does it very much in a way where he's like, this is what I want from y'all. And this is very basic, very simple. And honestly, this is what any GM, head of basketball operations, will want from their NBA team in any way. I'm not like I'm asking to go above and beyond here. So Darko was very interesting in his speech. He said that he spent a lot of time this summer reflecting on his career as a Raptors coach in the first 2 years and also the 29 years that he's done as a head coach. And some of the Raptors Redditors were doing the math. He's like, 29 years, he's 46. He started coaching at 18. What? Why? I thought people actually like play and then coach. No, listen, casuals. Listen, casuals. This is the thing. Anybody who has an opinion on Darko Rajakovic and you do not know his history and his story and why this is this way, well, you are not qualified to make an opinion on whether Darko's a good coach or not. Because I'm going to tell y'all and lay it down on y'all right now. Because I know the Raptor freaks know a little bit about this because we've talked about it on here. But casual fans do not understand why Darko started coaching at the age and as a teenager. As a teenager, it's basically because he wasn't a good basketball player. He wasn't. He's a short guy. He's not a big guy, but he loves basketball. And in some ways, he knew right away he didn't have a future as a player. So he needed to go and just head and be a coach. And that's the thing. He started coaching children in Serbia, and then he started coaching professionally in Spain. And it just kept going on. And he was just a really good coach. You don't get to where Darko is on a fluke. No, you have to be dedicated and coming with that energy and that organization like he has, and proving all the time that, like, this guy knows what he's doing. Wow, this guy's a badass. Like, he really knows basketball. Look at how organized he is. Look at how much of a people person he is. Look at how he's working with the management and with the players. Look at this. Look at that. You know, he's not a fluke. He took a long time to get his head coaching position. They were talking about Darko for head coaching jobs in 2010, guys. They were talking about him getting a coaching job in 2010. You see when he finally got the coaching job with the Raptors. So this is not a flash in the pan. This is not some jabroni that just walked up the NBA and got a fluke job like JJ Redick. No. This is a man who was in the trenches coaching for 30 years now and getting to this level to get this point. And you think he's going to fumble the ball with the Raptors and fuck up his chances with an NBA team like this? No, he's not. He's going to show everybody this year that what he's made of as a coach in a winning way. And that's going to be badass. So I like what they were saying, man. Darko, very passionate and very good. And the guys responded, and the guys in the open gym, you know, it's just really powerful. You know, Raptors fans can watch that and say, yeah, I love my team. I love my team. Of course, all the other parts of it with Calgary practice, hearing the voices of RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, seeing Scotty Barnes do the huddle and tell everybody this is how we're going to do it all year long, guys. He's the leader. That's right. Scotty is the leader. That's for sure. But yeah, great open gym, 15 minutes. You know, I've enjoyed the 2 outputs by open gym in the last couple weeks, whether it's summer league, catch up, and then the stuff from training camp in Calgary and Vancouver, Canada series. So good stuff. They showed them out at Banff, and we heard more "O Canada" singing from Jacoby Walter. And I think Jamal Shedd's a little cringing on him now. He's like, listen, man, we can do this. I mean, we love Canada. We're here. We're playing for Canada. We get to go see the beautiful Banff. They kept saying that for a fact. And it's a beautiful country, and we're in. But, man, don't be singing the song in too much jokey ways and laughing about it, because it may not come off the right way to patriotic Canadians. Just a warning. In some ways, it's like, you know, Roseanne Barr got in trouble for joke singing the Star Spangled Banner at a baseball game once. And she got a lot of hate mail. I don't want you guys to get weird hate from patriotic Canadians, because you may not be treating our national anthem with reverence. I guess that's the way to put it. I don't care. In some ways, as a personally, myself, you guys are showing love and enthusiasm around "O Canada." There's nothing wrong with that. But there are weird people, just like there's very patriotic Americans that get mad about how you treat the U.S. flag and how you have to show respect in certain ways. In some ways, that's kind of just bullshit, nationalist bullshit shit. But I will say, I'll just warn Jacoby Walter, don't be doing this too much and kind of cackling about it, because you may turn off some Canadians thinking that you guys are making fun of the Canadian anthem. And I mean, I don't think you are. I know that you guys have a joy and a passion, but they may not all interpret this like I do. Let's just put it that way. And I want you guys to have fun. I want you guys to have fun. And I don't want you to not like embrace the anthem, but I'm just saying there's some reverence you may need to take with it. There is. Like, they were in some sort of weird little karaoke room, and like they were singing karaoke somewhere, and that's where Jacoby was singing this. And they were like, cut the mic, because it was bad. It was bad. We also saw when they're out canoeing, they're yelling at Grady from one canoe to him, and he was rowing the canoe with his girlfriend Carla in the canoe, Grady. And they were yelling at Grady, and Grady started rocking the canoe. He started rocking that canoe. Woo, woo. And Carla's like, no, Grady, no, don't. She was worried about flipping the canoe into the water because Grady was being goofy. And yeah, that was fun. That was kind of a funny little moment there. Also, we got to hear the speech that Colin Murray Boyles gave to the crowd in Calgary at the open practice. And he was very well spoken. I heard that Murray Boyles did not know he was going to have to do that until they handed him the mic right then. And they're like, here you go, Rook. And he's like, whoa. So this was like straight off the top of his head what he was saying in that Open Gym episode on the mic. And he was like, look out, we're the Raptors and we're coming. He's like, he's saying something. I was like, yeah, go on, Colin. He's bought in. He's bought in. He's feeling the vibes. He's seeing the professionalism, the level of talent of his teammates. And he gets it. He gets the vision. You know, ESPN and other places are saying Colin Murray-Boyles is wasted in Toronto. You're crazy. They don't understand. They're like, oh, they should have got another shooter. They better hope that Colin can be a good three-point shooter in Toronto. Whatever. Y'all been missing the mark on us forever. And y'all gaslighting us by saying that the Colin Murray-Boyles draft pick for Toronto is messed up, like that New York guy was trying to say yesterday. It's all gaslighting. He's exactly where he needs to be. In fact, once again, haters are going to hate the best players in the best situations. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Scotty Barnes. And, you know, they can see the OP-ness of Colin's defensive stance and how he is. And they don't like that on the Raptors. So they're already coming with that energy, trying to say that he was a mistake on the Raptors, this and this and this, and hoping that Raptors fans will buy that line of bullshit and start parroting it around. Yeah, we shouldn't have gotten Colin Murray-Boyles. Why do you say that? Why do you say we shouldn't have got Colin Murray-Boyles? Because ESPN said it. Think for yourself. Watch the game for yourself. Watch him for yourself and decide whether Colin Murray-Boyles was a bad draft pick for the Raptors. Don't let ESPN tell you what to think, because it's bullshit most of the time, and they're feeding you bullshit. So, yeah, Colin's going to be badass, and that's why they're worried. The metrics don't lie, because he's coming through in reality, and we're seeing already an NBA strength. The man has no NBA aptitude yet, and that's going to come, and then it's just going to be game over. This guy has already got all the physical traits and all kinds of stuff already. It's just that he needs to get a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, and a little bit badder as far as knowing how NBA play in the NBA. As far as these veterans do this, watch out for that, learn this. You can hedge this way. There's an opportunity there that you didn't know as a rookie, but you will learn in the next couple of years as you keep going in your NBA path. This kind of stuff right here. And everybody who thinks it's a bad fit, Murray-Boyles in Toronto, you're crazy, because we have a great track record for making players into something. And half these teams that say, oh, it's a bad fit, your team is a horrible fit for a lot of young players because you don't develop them right. And I'm going to say that over and over again. So, yeah, there's a bit of noise on that. But, yeah, Open Gym, check it out. Fantastic. Always it's just the top marks for the Open Gym people that produce that show. They don't mess with the formula. They know what works, and they have perfected and mastered it over the years. The last 2 years of Open Gym have been sublime. Absolutely perfect 10 out of 10 kind of content, the exact kind of content Raptors fans want. So keep doing what y'all are doing. Y'all are doing it right, Open Gym. I salute you guys. I love that show so much, man. It is absolutely one of my favorite TV shows in the history of TV. On the list with the A-Team and Survivor. Open Gym, Survivor, and the A-Team. Yeah, top 3 for Lex. That's right. That's right. Right there. That's right. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Trevor's saying, happy game day. Let's do it to the Wizards. Give them that L. It's very likely. I don't want to lose to the Wizards. Y'all want to lose the Wizards? No, I don't want to lose the Wizards. So I think that we should not lose the Wizards. Trevor's saying, Jeff Teague said Ingram, he believes he can make the All-Star team. He also said the Raptors are a sleeper team in the East. Yeah, Jeff Teague, you're waking up. All right. All right, this is the kind of stuff that you might get in my good books, but maybe not totally. I don't disagree with anything he just said. If Brandon Ingram shows consistent 20-plus scoring and he's healthy for the good part of the season, knock on wood, hopefully that's for sure. Yeah, he can be an all-star. He can be an all-star. And, yeah, I know that second part's going to be right if we're healthy this year. That's right. Trevor's saying, what do you think of Thad Young's comments? Yeah, Thad Young appeared on a podcast. It looked like with Raymond Felton and Charlie Villanueva. I've seen that podcast before. It's not a bad podcast. That's actually a good little group that's very knowledgeable and fair for the most part. And they were treating the Raptors fair in this. There wasn't anything like that was said that was bad, Raptors fans. It's just Thad explaining that era and what was happening at that time. In some ways, I appreciate Thad illuminating and talking about it in public. Now, I didn't see the whole podcast. I only saw one little clip. He could have said some shit that was wrong on the outside of it. But I'm just going by what I saw in the one little clip about them commenting on whose team is it. The question was asked to Thaddeus Young, whose team is this Raptors team? is it Brandon Ingram's team or is it Scotty Barnes' team? And Thaddeus said, oh, it's Scotty's team for sure. It's Scotty's team. I mean, they got rid of OG, Pascal, and Fred for him. And they're building the team around Scotty. It's definitely Scotty's team. And he's right. And he would know because he played on that team with Scotty for a few years there. Now, he also brought up the fact that the Raptors put Fred in the corner for Scotty. And, this is one thing that, all the idiots that had a problem with Fred at that time didn't realize that Fred was making major sacrifices in his own game to make room for Scotty in the new era. And, Fred was a professional about it. The fans were not professional towards Fred and talking all that bullshit, Pensair and his bullshit campaign around that time in Raptors history. Fred actually was getting deferred from to Scotty. And that was that whole period of time where Scotty was running point guard more and Fred would stand in the corner and wait for threes. And there was nothing wrong with that. Fred did not complain. Fred did what the coaches said. There was never a headache or any kind of negativity about it from Fred VanVleet, even though that wasn't exactly what he probably envisioned after Kyle Lowry left and how this team was going to change with him and Siakam at the top. So, man, Fred's an ultimate professional. If anything, Thad Young's comments ensconce that. And anything, there's nothing wrong with what Thad said. He's just telling the truth. The Raptors pivoted after the Tampa season towards building the team around Scotty Barnes, the 4th pick in the draft from Florida State. And some Raptors fans are still casuals. And they're like, why are we building around? And fuck anybody who says Sloppy Barnes, you're a piece of shit. All right. Anybody who's calling him that right now, get over yourself, you fucking piece of shit. And if you are one of those people and you come in my chat, go ahead and call him here and see what I say, or argue with me, or tell me why you think he should be able to be called that. But nah, fuck you guys who are doing that. You're not real Raptors fans. So get the fuck out. So yeah, it is what it is. And, the changing of the guard happened. We can't go back in time. So anybody who's upset about anything, whether it's what Thad said or what happened, you can't. So give it up and just stay in the present. And let's go forward with what we built with Masai before and Bobby now. So that's just what you got to do right there. So I have no problem with Thad Young's comments. I'm not going to put them on a stack with the customs comments and say, oh, this was bad or anything. Thad, that, in some ways I feel like we overreacted to the customs comments too. Also, Raptors Nation. We're a little sensitive about cold and customs. A little bit sensitive in some ways. That's right. Comma Crazy's here. Good morning, Comma Crazy. Hi, no swearing. Thanks. Thanksgiving. Hi, no swearing Thanksgiving. Yeah, I guess it's Thanksgiving weekend. Long weekend, Thanksgiving Sunday, Thanksgiving Monday, tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to have to go down to the grocery store and get myself a personal chicken and eat a chicken. Yeah, because Lex does Thanksgiving with the animals. That's right. I saw something crazy in the yard yesterday, and it kind of freaked me out. I'd never seen this before happen. It was before I went on the stream yesterday. I just didn't talk about it on the show. I saw a chipmunk get snatched off the ground in the middle of my yard by a hawk right in front of me. It was crazy. And in some ways I look at, when I see certain animals around my forest property, I end up like thinking, why am I seeing this animal today? And I like to go look and see what the symbolism of each animal is from like an indigenous culture and telling you, oh, this is, if you see the hawk, this is what it symbolizes, and this and this and this. So it's very interesting. I'd never seen that happen. I saw a hawk dive at a chipmunk in the last couple of years, but he wasn't successful. It missed the chipmunk and it got away. But this time that did not happen. That chipmunk got caught. And I was sad because in some ways that chipmunk was my friend because he is the one who lives in the middle of my yard. And now there's an empty apartment, an empty chipmunk apartment. And somebody else going to come get in it now. But yeah, I know I already swore, Comma Crazy. I apologize. Yeah. Who wins today, Lex? Who do you think, man? The keys to the victory, to the plan, to the win, to game, the victory, the keys, is easy. Show up, play non-sloppy, play smart, and don't turn the ball over too much. Play that pressure on the Wizards really tough, and they'll cough the ball up. Much like with the Celtics in the second half on Friday night, the Wizards are a skewing, very young team that are susceptible to cough the ball up. If we put really good pressure on them, like we did at the end of the game on Friday night, the Wizards will turn the ball over and we'll get a lot of transition opportunities. It could very well be we don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on them. They may just naturally turn the ball over and let us run the other way. No, they just don't have weapons. They just don't have a talent level They have certain young players that may become very good players, but they're not there. They're too young and they're not figuring it out. Alex Sarr is an interesting player. As I said before, that's the Sarr I'd rather have than Olivier on our team. But, once again, where's all the press about Alex Sarr is going to waste his development years in Washington, because that's what's going to happen probably. Seriously, Alex Sarr could be a better player if he was on a better team. I'm going to say that right now. Washington will not develop him to the fullest extent that he could be. If he was in Toronto with his brother, Olivier Sarr, you could probably talk to him. He's going to go talk to Olivier, Alex, real quick. Say, man, listen, bro, they got me going so good right now. I feel like a better player already. Really, Olivier? Really? I'm like, yeah, man, Toronto's got their shit together. Top notch. Top notch. I'm just saying, Alex Sarr, you spin your wheels with Washington, not getting nowhere in the NBA on an individual level or a team level. Well, you might want to go somewhere else when your rookie contract's up. And maybe, north of the border is one of those places. Maybe. That's right. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. Good morning to you, MJ. Hope you're having a great, relaxing Sunday and happy Thanksgiving. Fiercey's saying, CJ, what happened to him being professional? That's a bad look, but not our problem. Laugh out loud. CJ McCollum is a professional. Yes. He's been, he's weird, man. Because, I've never thought of him as a very good leader. I know some people talk very highly of him as a teammate in different places, Portland, and stuff like that. But I feel like also there's an energy around him where it's like, yeah, people are just saying that because they feel like they have to. Like he's annoying on the down low. And in some ways, he's not very well liked. I mean, if people connect him with the bad salary cap for middle class players in this league, yeah, there should be some guys around the league that have a little disdain for him with the way that this was worked out and negotiated in the last deal. Fred VanVleet is now the Players Association president, and because he's hurt, he's going to be able to really give all of his attention and time to it, along with his rehab. But yeah, CJ, I don't know. I always got the thing is, like, I feel like he's well spoken. I feel like he's a good vet, but there's something about him that's kind of a con artist. Let's just put it that way. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like there's something about CJ McCollum that's just not authentic. Let's just put it that way. And he's been a Raptor hater. He said such stupid shit about the Toronto Raptors franchise at times. And it's been very disdainful. And I'm like, fuck you, CJ McCollum, because in some ways you didn't really have to diss or put down the Raptors. And when he did that kind of shit, I was like, fuck, this guy's the president of the Players Association. And he has that opinion of the Raptors. I'm like, yeah, fuck this guy. So I'm much happier that Fred's in charge. And, listen, CJ, just because you want to get traded from Washington don't mean it's going to happen. They might really need you there to teach the kids. Oh, man, that's what I say about that right there. Let's see. We got the super fan. Monique Lawrence is back in the chat. She went to the game on Friday night. She brought the winning vibes. And look, I know that she didn't leave early. No, that's the thing. She may have sat through a big lead for the Celtics for most of the game, but she always sees it through. And she saw them win at the end, I'm pretty sure. Yes, she did. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Happy game day. It's Wizards are still shit. Come on now. That's right. She's right. And she's cussing, crazy. Not me. Well, I was, but yeah, she's exactly right. We have no business losing to the Wizards in any form, whether it's preseason, regular season, playoffs, whatever it is. Whatever it is. There's no John Wall Wizards anymore. This is a young Wizards team that is very, very green and does not know what the fuck they're doing completely. And honestly, Bilal Coulibaly is their most accomplished young player now that's steady, and he's not playing today. So there you go. Fiercely saying, Lex, in your honest opinion, which team is the worst to be shipped to? Portland, Washington, Utah, Charlotte, or Brooklyn? This is a fantastic question by MJ. Okay, so I only have those 5 choices. I mean, those are probably the ones that are the worst. I don't think it's Utah. I think that Utah is an interesting franchise with the owner is a goofy guy that's a skateboard dude or whatever. He's a surfer dude, or I don't know. He's a snowboarder, something like that. I don't know. Either way, he's a cool dude. And I don't know. I don't think it's Utah. Utah has a storied history, and they have some of it's the culture. Utah has Karl Malone and John Stockton, at least, even if it's Karl Malone. But yeah, as far as culture and like things, Portland, same thing. They have a history that has some success. They have a championship at 77, and they have some things to hold their head up. And in some ways, they're also better off, like Utah, to get it out of the mud and try and be a competitive team, even if they probably won't in the near future. So I won't say it's either of those two teams. So if I'm analyzing it down, Brooklyn has probably one of the has a pretty bright future in some ways. Jordy Fernandez, I have a lot of faith in him, but their team just doesn't have any talent, so they're going to be bad this year. But in some ways, with Joe Tsai and Jordy there, they're in a good situation. So I don't know if I'll say it's Brooklyn in this case. So we're narrowing it down, and we're getting close. Now, is it Charlotte? It could very well be Charlotte. Is it Washington? It could very well be Washington. I think that they're very equal in how bad it is to be in either one of those places. In some ways, I would maybe say Washington is the worst because Charlotte in some ways has some promise in certain ways around it. I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say. The market, and Washington, D.C. is kind of a mess right now in general. I would say it's Washington. The worst place to be in the league is maybe Washington, very closely followed by Charlotte. Very, very closely followed by Charlotte. Common Crazy saying it depends if you want minutes or if you want wins to get paid or contribute. Yeah. I want us to win. And well, Scotty Barnes is a franchise winning player that's going to win for us. He's more like a Ben Wallace, Tim Duncan kind of player, and those players win championships. And that's why I would tell Raptors fans, don't look at his points per game. Like even in that clip with Thad Young, they're saying, what was his averages? Like 19, 8, and 6 last year. Oh, see, they didn't think that was a bad stat line. They didn't say anything about, he needs to score more. They didn't say anything about any of this that some of these dumbass fans in Raptors Nation are saying. No, they looked at that stat line. That's respectable because these men played in the league and they know how hard it is to get those numbers that Scott got. So once again, Raptors fans, he's going to get stats like Tim Duncan gets stats to help us win. And it's not necessarily about Scotty getting 30 or bombing all threes or playing point guard or any of that. He needs to rebound. He needs to play defense. He needs to get blocks and steals. And he needs to be a vocal teammate who's leading his team to victory. Those are his job titles. And scoring, being a smooth stroke with a shot is Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel quickly going to run around, change the pace, and do stuff. And we know Jakob has roles too, as far as being the defensive back line and also being a great pick and roll partner and all that stuff. So just understand his role, Jabroni. Yeah, it's like know your role, know Scotty's role, and stop trying to tell his role something else outside the lines. That's right. Fiercely saying, I'm with Lex. Having our starters play today is not required. I predict light work, but on the low, the Washington rookies are not that bad. They were competitive last season. There's promise. There's promise. But once again, this is the thing. When you have an ecosystem like the Wizards, and this is the difference between the Pelicans and the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, is that if they don't have a vision, if they don't have guidance, if they don't have a coach that everybody fully respects and believes in, if they don't have a front office that everybody doesn't respect and fully believe in, these guys can be all the talent in the world, but if they don't have direction and organization, they're not going to, it won't matter how talented they are. That's the thing that keeps pissing me off is that ESPN analysts keep ranking the best young cores in the league, and they're going solely on paper by talent, but they're not looking at the organizations that these teams are on, that these players are on, and figuring in the factor of how is the bustability of not the players themselves, but of the whole fucking franchise, because this is a shitty run franchise that won't get anywhere and waste these guys' time. And I'll say this right now, that there's a couple of these young cores that they're touting so much right now that are not going to go anywhere. And it's partly because of the organization. It's partly because there's no path or consistency to success with these organizations. So it's not like Charlotte's just going to figure it out all of a sudden because LaMelo Ball matured all of a sudden. No, that shit's not going to happen. And with Wizards, there's a culture there. There's a place where they've been forever now. And how the hell are they going to find their way out with a bunch of young guys and CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton? No, they're not. They're not. They're going to continue. They can have all the top draft picks in the world. They will not get out of the bottom because in some ways it's the organization. It's the franchise. It's just that culture. It's the culture they built. And meanwhile, that's why it's so important we built We the North. Meanwhile, that's so important. Why we have a certain standard of excellence, and we promise ourselves quality in the work that we do and intention in what the Raptors do and everything they do. And there's no waste. And the Wizards, you know, you could be in there working for the Wizards and like, man, I work for the Wizards. It's a joke. I don't give a shit about my job. And the Raptors, you're like that. No, you don't. Bobby Webster making it very clear that this is a group, not just the team, not just the coaches, but the staff. And he said, we have not hired anybody new. So we have everybody and we trust everyone. And that this is the first time in 12 years we have not hired a new staff member. That may be because of Ed Rogers right there, honestly. Pulling the purse strings and cutting jobs instead, saying hasta la vista to Masai. Yeah, I mean, I like that, though, that we had that kind of continuity and everybody's coming over, because in some ways that will really help us bridge the success and the things that we built on last year to this year, having the exact same people involved and, you know, having most of our team the same, too. So that's good. That's good. Let's keep going. Monique saying, and it won't be Sarr versus Sarr. Doubt it. It could be, though. We'll have to see if Alex suits up. It's really about Alex. If he's hurt and they don't want to play him, then they won't play him. But if he plays, maybe we will see Olivier versus Alex, a French battle. So you're saying what's happening came after good times. That's right. That's right. See, yeah, I messed that up. Sweet D was the brother of Roger, or no, Roger, or Dwayne. I see. I get in a moment. No, Dwayne's a friend with the and rerun, and and there's Shirley, who's at the restaurant, who where rerun works, and Roger's a part owner of it, and D is Roger's little sister, and she's sassy as hell. Yeah, and that was on What's Happening. But Good Times is the one with JJ Walker and John Amos. And also Janet Jackson appeared on that show for a little while, right? On Good Times. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying game 1 of ALCS, Seattle at Toronto, 8:08 p.m. You know, in some ways, I know people in Toronto would love to see that game in the afternoon. Why can't it be a 4 o'clock start or 3 o'clock start? Well, Seattle got in late. And also, we got to think about the people on the West Coast, what time it is for them when the game comes on, because they are 3 hours behind. So an 8 o'clock start, I'm sure the Blue Jays don't mind playing a late Sunday game at Rogers Center. I wonder if they'll have the dome open. It may probably not, because it has gotten chillier in the last week, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll have it on a nice, brisk fall evening, and it can be very picturesque. I don't know if the forecast says about showers, but it'd be nice if they had the dome again open for an evening game on a Sunday night in October. Then we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Fiercely saying the Open Gym episode was once again excellent. Looking forward to the next one. It's showcasing Ingram. Yeah, this will be a good one. And they've been filming this one to get ready for it. I mean, they're really good, man. These producers are really doing a good job for Open Gym. And, well, we'll see it in 2 weeks. It'll come out on the 25th, the Brandon Ingram episode. And it's apparently season 1 episode. It's the first episode of this season for this year. Yeah, it's the first one. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, fans, super fan Mo saying new Open Gym training camp video fire. I like that. MJ saying I felt Masai's words through Bobby's speech. Main message: don't listen to the people outside their circle of trust. Love it. That was what Darko was showing, and that was a window to, you know, this is something that's common on sports teams at a lower level, even. You know, in high school, these kids start getting this drilled in by coaches, is saying, like, don't listen to everybody else, where you have a circle of trust. And in this circle of trust is the organization. It's the front office, it's the coaches, it's the staff, it's the players. And listen, don't listen to anybody else about opinions about us. In fact, that speech that Darko was saying was an anti-ESPN speech. That speech was like, I don't give a shit what they're saying about us. That doesn't matter. What we do is what matters. And this is shit that I say on this channel all the time, is that, like, the media and what they say about the Raptors, how they project the Raptors to do, anything they nitpick about players, anything social media idiots are saying on Reddit or Facebook or Instagram or wherever they are, none of that matters, because we're in the circle of trust. And it's the organization and what we think inside that matters. And the outside noise, shut it out. Get it out of your life. Don't even pay attention to it. If you go look at it, laugh at it like RJ does. But don't take it to heart and understand in the circle of trust, the reality of the Raptors is where that resides. It's not outside that circle of trust. The Raptors themselves are the energy and generators of what the Raptors do, not the people who write the bullshit on Bleacher Report or any other place where they're ranking this team. They're going to say we're 23rd out of 30 for this year. Fucking prove them wrong. That's the circle of trust. And I love that we got to see the little window into that part. And that's something that, you know, like I said, in college, these guys have this kind of thing too. Calvin Sampson talked to Jamal Shed about a circle of trust in the team and not having the outside noise seep in and listening to it. You get the professional level, you're a certain level of basketball player, you're already used to this mentality because you have to shut out the noise. Because, you know, in the social media age, the noise is everywhere and it's easy to fall into it. And it's very necessary for Darko to delineate the difference between who you should be listening to and who you shouldn't. That's the big important thing. And these players, they know it, they got it, and they understand it. They know it, they got it, and understand it. That's right. Fiercely saying casuals must remember, despite him not getting minutes like Tatum, Ingram was selected to the USA team. This shows how valued and respected he is. That's true. Brandon Ingram did play in one of the USA teams. I was at the World Cup a couple summers ago when Germany won with Dennis, right before Dennis joined our team. But he didn't get to play. He was the odd man out. He was one of the guys who did not get to play. And I remember that time he was kind of annoyed about it. He was kind of a little bit of malcontent and a little bit of a problem, a little toxic on that USA team at that time. But I won't hold it against Brandon. In some ways, he's a Raptor, and we support him. And fuck USA for not playing him more at that time. He wasn't a Raptor at that time, and I didn't care about it at that point. But I do now because the notorious BI3 wears the Raptors red. And, well, you should have played him, Steve Kerr, is what I'm saying right now. You should have played him. That's right. That's right. Monique's saying, Darko Rajakovic, we are a very, very special team. That's what he was saying. Like, look, Darko said this, 29 years of coaching. He's seen a lot of players. He's seen a lot of teams together. And once again, he has said publicly that the aura and the riz and the connection and the camaraderie and the way this team is top notch, is higher than pretty much any team he's ever been on. And that's including the Memphis Grizzlies that he was on a couple of years ago that had such crazy, crazy vibes. So, yeah, I mean, I love that they talked about the staff a lot in that meeting and talking about how the staff is so helpful, because that's true. The staff and the coaches do so much to set up the success of the team. And that is very, very, very important. That's right. Smooth saying at Crown Jewel yesterday in Australia, the U.S. anthem was loudly booed. It was wild. So they're having Crown Jewel in Australia? Why isn't it in Saudi Arabia? That's weird. I always figure that Crown Jewel is always in Saudi Arabia, but they're doing it in Australia. Okay, see, that shows you how out of touch I am. I don't get. In some ways, I don't care, but that's an interesting thing that you brought up. And I wonder how our guest yesterday feels about the Australians booing the anthem. This is a worldwide thing. I don't know if people realize that. Like, Americans, your anthem is not just getting booed in Canada. It's getting booed around the world. And they may not show you guys that. You guys got to understand, you guys used to be like a very popular kid at the school, but you've done something really fucked up. And now you're kind of like looked at as a villain and somebody that's not to be celebrated or want to be around. This is kind of where we're at this point. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak Crew. Good morning to you, Cool Cat. Always good to see the coach in the chat. And Mo's saying Brandon Ingram's night next week, Friday. Wow, wow, wow. I can't wait. Mo, do you know what they're giving to the fans? Because why is it Brandon Ingram night? Is it going to be a bobblehead? Is it going to be a T-shirt? I want to know what it is. They're going to give something that's Brandon Ingram related at that Brooklyn Nets game on Friday night. And I think they already sold it out because they said it's Notorious BI3 night. But I would be curious to know, why is it BI3 night? And what are they going to give to everybody to signify it? Is it a bobblehead? Are they making Brandon Ingram bobbleheads right now? Are they going to give out shirts, Brandon Ingram shirts? I want to know. I want to know. And I know if you're going to the game, you're going to get it, and you'll be able to report back to us and say, this is what it was, Lex. This is what it was. Another piece to add to my very amazing Raptors collectible collection that Monique Lawrence has. We're going to add another one, a BI3 something. I want to know what it is, though. What are they going to do? Why is it Brandon Ingram night? What is it going to be? I want to know. Fiercely saying on the Open Gym episode, I also like Mamu buying the camera guy a toque. What a nice gesture. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm glad you brought that moment up. Mamu showing his benevolence. And, here, you want this, you can have it. What, you really want to give me a hat? Has that ever happened on Open Gym? Where one of the Raptors is just like, yo, come over here, man. I'm going to give you this. Here you go. We've seen Scotty buy clothes for Jacoby. I think that Sandro bought that shirt for Elijah. But it's like, yeah, I've never seen that. And the cameraman's like, man, Sandro, you're awesome. Thank you. You gave me a Banff toque. It's pretty cool. The editing for that part was a little weird. It's like Sandro discovered the same white Canada shirt twice in a row. Like the editing, why'd you guys make him do that? Oh, Canada. Yeah, Banff. And then you guys made him go and get the shirt off the rack a second later. What was the editing in that? Where you guys? I know you guys are top notch, but that was weird to me that Sandro was discovering the same damn shirt within like 30 seconds on the same show. That was weird, man. And that shirt was You could have found a better shirt in there, Sandro Mamu. Come on now. You could have found a better one. Fiercey's asking, is Thad Young officially retired? Yes. I mean, I don't know if he's officially said he's retired. I don't think he's actually come out and said, I'm officially retired. He may be sitting at home waiting at the phone and saying, oh, man, maybe this team will call me. But no, he didn't play last year, right? He didn't play at all last year. And I think he's pretty much done. Now, has he gone overseas and extended his career in Europe yet? No, he hasn't. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's just taking time to focus on Thad Young Jr.'s basketball career and catch up on time with Shekinah. And that's all he's doing. I think that's what Thad's doing. He's just enjoying not having to do the NBA trip around the league for the year. And he's really focused on, I'll bet you he's very focused on training his sons and getting them up. Because Thad Jr. is getting to one of those ages where it's coming to the make or break time as far as getting attention from prep schools and colleges to try and get that path. And he looked really good the last time I saw him. I haven't checked in on Thad Young Jr. Recently, but he does look like he's on a good path to get somewhere and professionally. So we'll just have to see. But I think that's what he's doing right now. Nobody called him. He's not been on a roster for over a year now. And, well, he's being a dad and a coach at this point, I think. And I don't think he cares about going to Europe and trying to play over there because he'd have to uproot his kids out of what they're trying to do right now. And it's not worth it to him to make more money in Europe, which is where he could make the most money at this point. No, the trade-off is family and his son's career. And I think that's where we're at with him. Superfan Mo saying Jeff Teague has always been on my haterade list. I'm with Lex, but okay, Teague. Yeah, I mean, what do they say, Monique? A broken clock is right twice a day. That's what they say, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. So, I mean, that's what I look at with that. I mean, listen, that's a fair. I like that you're saying this, Jeff Teague. In some ways, it gives you have more bona fide opinion that I'm like, okay, Jeff Teague kind of knows what he's talking about because he can see this. Everybody who's saying that they can see the Raptors being really good this year, I'm giving you respect. Kendrick Perkins was one of the first people that had faith in the Raptors for this year. And I have a lot of respect for Kendrick on his basketball takes, on his other takes and other things. I'm not so sure. But he stood up for the Raptors at times. Everybody's waking up and seeing this ahead of time. Well, kudos to you. The other people that are still continuing to say, oh, the Raptors are one of the 20th, below 20 in the league. You're crazy. We're going to be in the top 5 in the East this year. We're going to be in the top 5 in the East. And we're going to be hopefully in the top 10 in the whole entire NBA. So that's what I'd like to see. We'll definitely be in the top 12 in the NBA. Anybody who's slotting the Raptors below 12th in the NBA overall, you're wrong, and you're going to find out. You're going to find out. Cool Cat saying this: Raptors always have competition at every position. When Scotty got drafted, I knew Siakam, Fred, OG was on the clock. Statement: Ingram loved to shoot, Scotty loved to pass. Indicate the number one offense option. Yeah. And Colin Murray, CMB, is Scotty's backup option now. That's the Raptors structure. Every role has competition. Yeah, and that's good because it makes them better. And they did talk about that with people like Grady and Oshai and Jacoby recently. They like the challenge. They want to step up, and their teammates making them better is important. Yeah, I mean, this was the change in the guard. You know, in some ways, it wasn't totally fair, the opportunity that Pascal, Fred, and OG got as that nucleus with Norman, and because there was Tampa, right? The middle of when they were really getting the chance to be in charge and run things. Well, they had to play an 82 game road season that year, and that was not the best situation for Siakam and them to work it out and make it work and have success. But they did what they did, and like they were hurt a lot that year too because there was still COVID outbreaks happening, and yeah, it just happened the way it did. You know, not every edition of Raptors, like we know this, is going to be successful and get the 2019 championship. And you know, if people had expectations that a team led by Fred, Pascal, and OG would be able to repeat and get back to the championship, well, maybe their ceiling wasn't like that, and we just have to accept that. And that the changing of the guard to shifting to building around Scotty was, you know, just the right sustainable decision for the future. Because once again, Fred, OG, Pascal were going to get paid regardless. And when they did go to the teams that they went to from us, they became the highest paid players on their teams. OG became the highest paid Nick. Fred was one of the highest paid Rockets. And none of that money would have fit in our salary cap at that point. So maybe we could have kept Siakam. And some of the people that say that, I agree with you. We may have been able to work out Siakam. But in some ways, we needed to start clean and, you know, fresh. And because Scotty now, he can say, I'm the longest Raptor. I've been here the longest. And in some ways, that has to be respected because he's the elder, even if he's a young player. So once again, in some ways, Scotty is a winning player. He's like a Ben Wallace. He's like a Tim Duncan. He's going to win a championship. And Raptors fans need to stop freaking out about his personal stats. It's about the team stats. And that's what it was always about with Tim Duncan. That's what it was always about with Ben Wallace. That's what it was always about with those guys. And they won championships. So, you know, we want that winning formula. You want that power forward four that has the effect of Duncan and Wallace. And I wish Raptors fans would open their eyes and understand this is the type of player Scotty is. He's not a fucking James Harden. He's not a Joel Embiid. He's not a fucking Jason Tatum. He is a Tim Duncan, and he's the kind of player that will make a difference as a team defender and an all-out influence and leader and setting the tone kind of guy. And that is way more valuable. Think about Tim Duncan and his history in this NBA and how many championships he won and how much he won like that. He's not Tim Duncan fully. Hell, if he can be closer to Tim Duncan more and more as his career goes on, that'd be great. But realize, what was Tim Duncan doing? He was getting rebounds. He was blocking shots. He was playing really good defense. It wasn't necessarily that Tim Duncan was doing all the scoring. So I want Raptors fans to really understand this right now. I really do. I don't know if Collins actually, you know, it is true. They do play the same position. They have a lot of similarities. But I see a world where Scotty and Colin play side by side. And they're not necessarily on the depth chart above or below each other. No, I see Colin being slotted in at 3 with Scotty at 4 at some point. And that being a very powerful defensive combination, especially if you got Yak at 5. Those are like 3 very plus defenders at those 3 front court spots. So I think that'll be awesome. Seeing Scotty next to Murray Boyles on the court is going to be a very tough thing for other teams to deal with. Very, very tough thing. Monique saying, another day, another dollar to make the girls holla. Yeah, Brandon's awesome, man. You can tell he's having fun. Monique, you're getting a dunk for that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, it was funny that you said that. It was really funny you said that. All right, let's do the Instagram stories. I'm going to do that. Let me get Monique's dunk first. 117, Monique, on the dunk charts for you. 117. All right, let's go look at Instagram. First, we got Coach Andrew Jones's daughter, Ava. She's another one that I think's got a professional future for her. She's going to the WNBA, guys. You're going to know the name Ava Jones in the WNBA in the next 10 years. I listen, I don't like scouting kids. It's weird because I don't scout high school or college, but somehow, some way, I scout kids. No, one of the kids that I scouted a long time ago was Steph Curry. I scouted him in like 2001 when he was a kid. His dad was of the Raptors with us, Del Curry, and I scouted him. I was like, that guy's gonna be a pro, and I was right. And I'm gonna name a couple of these offspring. They're coming up underneath people and say who I think is gonna be a pro coming up. Thad Young Jr. is one of them. Ava Jones is another. I think that Carter Lowry is going to be a pro somehow, some way too. But there's some offspring that are coming up that I'm like, yeah, they're going to be good. I can already tell they're really good. And Ava Jones is one of them. Andrew Jones's daughter is a real hooper, and she be hooping. And there's some highlights of her hooping on Andrew's Instagram right now. She's really, really good at driving and shooting. She's going to be a slasher. She's the kind of person that'll come in and like bump the person off and make the layup. So yeah, Ava be hooping. Keep hooping, Ava. That's what I'm saying. We'll see you on the tempo someday. That'd be great. Colin Murray Boyles is thanking God this morning on a Sunday morning. Thank you, God. And it shows a picture of him pushing Nikola Jokic. Let's see. Evan Gilliard is celebrating that Chicago has been named the best big city in the U.S. for the 9th consecutive year. The city saw a record-breaking hotel season summer of 2025 with over 3.5 million rooms occupied, earning nearly $950 million revenue. Yeah, this is not a war city. There's no reason to have the troops. Is that high hotel room occupation because of the National Guard coming to stay in there? I don't know. It's weird. Either way, Chicago's a beautiful world-class city, and it doesn't deserve the attention it's getting from the National Guard right now, or ICE. It's some bullshit. I'll tell you right now. Coco Wade has got his son on the field. He's playing soccer, and it's a game day goal. So he's watching his son out there playing some soccer. So that's where James Wade is showing the highlights of that. I don't know if he's actually there because he should be with the Raptors in Washington, but he got the footage, and he's proud of his son. So he's looking at the goals. And the cat is doing something at house. It's playing with something. And and the kid's out there dribbling the soccer ball around the little markers outside. So yeah, a little glimpse into Coco James Wade's life. Hulk me jet. That's what he said. Hulk me jet. What is that? The soccer thing is just too much. This kid is a soccer junkie. He's out there practicing his dribbling outside the house. Gary Trent Jr. went to the Brewers game last night and was rooting on the Milwaukee Brewers in their playoff baseball game yesterday. So cool to see Gary there. Let's see. Slim Duck is saying this morning. I woke up today. I'm healthy. I'm blessed. I'm alive. Thank you, God. All the glory to God. Thank you for another day. Please protect the vulnerable, the sick, the elderly, the young, the poor, the people that are getting subjugated by evil forces right now. God, I know you got them, and it'll all work out in the end. Faith in God. Glory to God. Please. Amen. Amen. That's right. Let's see. What else is Chris saying in his Instagram? He's got a tough picture of him wearing a jacket. You know, he's probably getting a lot of praise and a lot of attention for his Players Tribune, and rightfully so, Chris. You're an amazing story. In some ways, you're the kind of story that should be made into a movie, honestly. There's been a couple guys that have come through the Raptors and are associated with our national championship team, our championship team, that should have movies made about them. You know, it'd be kind of interesting to make one epic movie about the 2019 Toronto Raptors team and like tell the little stories about some of the different people like Masai, like Chris, like Fred, like Kyle. You know, if you could meld a story with actors playing the roles, it would be kind of like that Clippers shit they did with Lawrence Fishburne playing Doc Rivers. If they could make a show or a movie about the Raptors championship and tell the real story about where these people came from, I think people will respect the Raptors way more. I mean, you could even put a story arc in there with Jeremy Lin. You could put a story arc in there with Marc Gasol. You could put a story arc in there with Siakam and his journey from Cameroon. There's some very interesting stories there, and it would be a very interesting movie. There's so many storylines, it could be like a Marvel movie. Seriously, it's like the Raptors Avengers. That's right. That's right. Humble beginnings. Chris is showing a clip of him playing on the Raptors 7 years ago. Nice shot. And he's really playing up that Iron Man and Dr. Doom motif. Like he's Iron Man on the Raptors, and he's Dr. Doom now in the green on the Celtics. So he really knows, yes, Raptors fans, I am a villain now, and I will be Dr. Doom this year just like Robert Downey Jr. will be too. So he's really playing that two-sided like switch from the red to the green, man. Yeah, patience is the weapon that never jams. I love that. I love that. That's a great word of wisdom from him. And he's also got that old lady saying to be balling, you got to be all in. Oh, I like that. I like that. All right, let's see who else we got. Norman Powell is came to leave a message at somebody's door. What are you doing? They're at the door. He's trying to leave a message. What is that about? I don't get that at all. Let's see what else we got. Toronto Tempo president Teresa Resch has got International Day of the Girl. That was yesterday, I believe. And they had a bunch of associations. This is what she's saying here on International Day of the Girl. Today, we celebrate the voices, strength, and potential of girls everywhere and stand up for their rights and equality. We're partnered with the following community groups to nominate young trailblazers under 13 who are shaping their communities with leadership and heart. And they're like Girls Leap, the Mathurin Family Foundation, Layup, Wheelchair Basketball Canada, Spirit North, and Canada Basketball itself. So that's some big time people to be working with. Savannah Hamilton was at the Toronto Tempo stuff. Very, very cool. And yeah, they're having martinis. She's also gone on the new episode of The U and talking to the guy who was doing the sideline stuff for the Sports Center. And there she is on stage. I think they're doing karaoke. I'm not totally sure what's going on there. Martinis and something. I don't know. There was some event where her and Ashley were on stage. Maybe it was for the finals the other night. Maybe they were doing a finals watch. And they just happen to be there. So, yeah, go on, Savannah Hamilton. I wish you always the best. There's the Instagram story. It's just kind of light today. These guys were doing some traveling. So there's not a whole lot of Instagram right there. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good morning, Shaq Lindsay. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you, Reggie, for supporting this channel also. Is Jakob playing? Well, I can give you the most latest news. Let me just go check my sources and see if I see anything on Yak. Now, Darko said there is a possibility that Jakob will be able to play tonight, but don't hold your breath. In some ways, I don't think he should. Honestly, I don't think he should because, like Fiercey's saying, it's not necessary for this right now. It's not necessary for this. So yeah, I don't see any news from Grange or Doug Smith or Lewinberg or anybody. So no latest news on the lineup yet. As far as 3 p.m. start, we should hear all this stuff around noon for sure, and maybe get the starting lineup by then. We'll see. We'll have to see. Shaq Lindsay wants to see Jakob and Scotty and BI play together. I'm with you. I want to see that as soon as we can. I don't know if this is the opponent today. Maybe we see them together in Boston on Wednesday night. Wednesday night, Boston Celtics in Boston. That may be the kind of game where we want to see our starters on the road with each other. There. Bam, son. It's Alan Tam. Bam, son. Blue Jays. Let's go. Fire. That's right. Let's go, Alan Tam. Let's go, Canada. That's right, my guy. That's right. Trevor's saying the reporters were talking about the other players. Darko and said, don't forget about IQ. Well, wait. Reporters were talking about the other players. Darko said, don't forget about IQ. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. He brought up IQ. Is this an interview or something I didn't see? I don't remember this. Shaq Lindsay saying, I hope Jared gets to play some significant minutes today. This would be good. Yeah. All right. Well, let's think about it this way, Shaq Lindsay. If Darko is playing on the merit system, like if he sees players give really good effort and they do really consequential winning kind of things, they should be rewarded on merit, right? So I would expect Jared Rhoden's going to get a bigger role today, partly because of what he did in the last 4 minutes of the game on Friday. I mean, that to me would only seem fair and just. It's like you went all out. You just helped us win this game completely. And you know what? You deserve to get more burn. I would like to see this too. And if Darko's that kind of coach where he rewards players, Jared Rhoden should be rewarded today. Oh, yeah. Jared Rhoden should be rewarded today. That's right. Look at those gold medals. Okay, Trevor. Mo's saying, so Lex, I was Coach Justin Cerise's Friday. Says it died without Masai, but thrilled for Bobby. What? I was Coach Justin Cerise Friday. You were with him on Friday? Oh, at the game. When you went to the game, you saw Justin? Okay, cool. Justin said he died without Masai, but he's thrilled for Bobby's chance. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not totally understanding what you're saying. I think that's what you're trying to say. Wayne's saying this. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Development and progress happen under the banner of continuity. Yes. Darko's coaching crew has consistent messages and training modalities. 27-point comeback bench win proves that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To have a route to success, you have to have success to build off of, or an idea of what the path to success is. And that's why I would say the Wizards and the Hornets just are hopeless, because how do you even start success when you can't even get it figured out or entrenched or ingrained in the DNA of what your team and your organization does? Seriously, how do you do that? You have to have a special individual like Masai Ujiri, who has a standard of excellence and a culture that he comes in with and he installs on, like he did with the Raptors, because there's not much difference between the Wizards and the Hornets today than the Raptors of like 2008, 2009. And what was that difference? What is that difference? Well, we kind of languished for a while. We had people like Bosch. We had DeRozan come in as a rookie. We got Lowry. And then Masai showed up. And Masai was the culture setter. Masai was the excellence. He was the standard. And, you know, that is still intact, even though Masai is not officially working for us anymore. And that's, you know, that's tough. But we know that Masai is actually still in contact with Bobby. And so in some ways, Masai Ujiri is still part of the brain trust for the Raptors, guys, even if he's not officially working for us. Yeah, that's what I see right there. Danny, the electrician. Awesome. We got a plumber. Now we got an electrician. This is cool. What's up? What's up? What's up-o? What's up-o, man? This is Click. It's been a while. Laugh out loud. Okay, Click. Good to see Raptor Freak Click. It has been a while. Once again, school is back in session. Preseason is here. And the Raptor Freaks come back from summer. And I love to see it. Click. Good to see you, man. You're the electrician. That's awesome, man. We've had a good electrician out here to do some work to help me out. They had to hook up the electricity to the studio I'm sitting in. This guy named Larry. He's awesome. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's retired. And so he's kind of an old school electrician. But he's a really nice guy, really, really good guy, Larry the electrician. But we have Danny the electrician here, and it's Click. Good to see our old friend Click. Awesome. Awesome. Mo saying this, don't know, Lex, in reference to Brandon Ingram night. We'll let you know. Yeah, we'll have to find out. Maybe they'll be showing it on the way in, and we'll see it then. Maybe you get a really cool – I don't know if they'll do bobbleheads. Those are expensive sometimes to create. I mean, if they do a bobblehead, that'd be fantastic. But it's probably more likely it's going to be some sort of BI3 shirt. Is what I'm thinking. Shaq Lindsay saying, if they hold out Jakob during preseason, then I think this is done strategic, because Jakob is the key to unlock our offensive and defense. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It is strategic. We don't want Jakob to get any kind of weird, you know, we want to protect him because he's seriously important. And if these games don't matter, why play him? You know, Jakob played for Austria and he got his nose broken. And that's part of the reason why he's out right now, is because if he was playing right now, he'd be wearing a mask. So let's do the math here. Let's think about this. Winders. Yak plays today. He has to wear a mask. Why does he have to wear a mask? Because if he gets hit in the face, he could re-injure his nose, and that could make more possibilities of problems. So why play Yak at all if we don't even matter? This game's not 82-game schedule. It doesn't count to our record. You know, that in some ways precaution. It could very well be that Darko and the Raptors are like, we have 21 players in training camp right now, and somebody's not going to get to play every game. And, well, if you guys have any nagging injuries, any little excuse to not play in this game tonight because your nose is broken and you have to wear a mask out there if you play, well, you're sitting, because we don't even want a chance anybody getting a serious injury before we start the regular season. I think that's a big part of it right now. Precautionary and like, well, we don't need to play these guys. Let's not play them and risk it. You know, having 6 preseason games, the Wizards are only playing 3, is a luxury because, you know, in some ways, yeah, we showed them. Brandon showed up. He played a couple games. We've seen him healthy. He looks amazing. We have not seen the starters together, but maybe we see the starters together on the last game of the preseason on Friday against Brooklyn, or maybe we see them in the first game of the season against Atlanta on the road. Either way, I think it's smart for the Raptors to side on caution and not put important players for our team this year out there in any kind of way where they possibly, you know, have something happen that's not good. I think that's the big one. Why risk it? We're playing the Wizards. It's preseason. This is the perfect kind of game for David Roddy and Jared Rhoden and AJ Lawson and Olivier Sarr. Perfect game for Elijah Mark. Chucky Hepburn to get out there and play more. That's right. It's Jack Lindsay saying you don't want to show your cards before the season starts. That's right. It may not even be that. I think it's just precautionary, like I'm saying right here. All right, let's go and continue with the tabs this morning. If anybody wants their fantasy team reviewed and you are here and you have not had your team reviewed, we still have quite a few to review. I know some of you guys are not regulars in the chat, so you may not ask me to do a review of your team. But if you are here and you would like me to do a review on your team, Cool Cat, I could do a review on your team today if you'd like me to look at it. Click saying this. Yes, man. Finished school, started my apprenticeship, got out of a draining relationship, and now back to sports, family, and friends. Awesome, Click. Well, I hope we see you more frequently. And yeah, I'm happy to be still going strong so you can circle back and be a part of the RFF and enjoying the Raptors season with us as true diehard fans that love our team. And we just want to see them have the best success. So yeah. All right. So you want me to review your team? Cool Cat, I will do that. Yeah, Click, man. We're doing things like the Thursday Think Tank and stuff like that, call-in show on Thursday. But now during reactions, like tomorrow, I'm allowing calls on reaction streams to react to the games the next day. So tomorrow we will have the call-in show once again to talk about the Wizards outcome, the game today. All right, let's go look at Cool Cat's Ballers. They are a team that is in my division. We are in the We the North division, and Cool Cat's Ballers has been in this division for a while. I like your red Raptor basketball. It looks like a Raptor basketball, but it isn't. But it's nice and red. Really cool, Cool Cat. I love it. I love it. All right, she's got our guy Dennis as her starting point guard. I like that. Dennis Schroeder. MVP of FIBA basketball, one of the best international players in the world, but disdain in the NBA. I don't get it. Is her starting point guard. That's a solid guy. I think that it was a good sign that he started for the Kings in the preseason game against us, so that maybe he will be starting for them this year. We'll have to see. Of course, he always seems to get shifted back and forth between the bench. Brandon Ingram is on Cool Cat's team, and so she'll be getting all the silky smooth jumpers that he's shooting this year as her Raptor on her team. That's a fantastic Raptor for her to have. She also has a missed pick for the Raptors, Jalen Suggs. Yeah, I don't feel like Jalen Suggs is a very good fantasy player because a lot of the stuff he's good at is not counted in fantasy. It's being a bulldog and defensive kind of stuff and just being a hard ass. And in some ways, his stats, it doesn't totally translate into fantasy, but he's not a bad player to have, I guess. She's got Lauri Markkanen and Pascal at forward. And I know that both of them are favorites of hers. She loves both these players, especially Siakam. And so it's just a joy for her. She's got some very long, lengthy forwards that know how to score in Brandon, Pascal, and Lauri. Really, really cool. Trey Murphy III, another guy who's similar in that way. He's a very good fantasy player. He collects a lot of different stat categories. She's got DeAndre Ayton. Now, there's something I want to say about DeAndre Ayton right now. It's hilarious. I posted in the Discord yesterday. They asked DeAndre Ayton in an interview what it's like to be practicing with Luka and LeBron on the Lakers. And he said, I don't know. I haven't done it yet. That's bad. That's really bad. You think about all the other teams in the league. You think about how much the Raptors have ramped up and built chemistry together and stuff like that. This man has not even practiced with Luka or LeBron yet, DeAndre Ayton. He said that in an interview just like in the last 2 days, guys. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. The Lakers are going to be a messed up team this year. She's got Jay Huff, the replacement for Miles Turner, Indiana Pacers land, as one of her centers also. Sam Hauser, great three-point shooter. Harrison Barnes, a solid fantasy player, an underrated fantasy player. He's a better fantasy player than Jalen Suggs, but nobody would know that because nobody pays attention to him because he's just not that exciting. Tristan Da Silva, great young player for Orlando. Obi Toppin, solid fantasy player off the bench. Mike Conley, he's getting up there. Is he going to be able to play? We'll have to see. Grayson Allen and Nicholas Batum. Yeah, feisty guys. Allen's a bastard. Nicholas Batum, respect to you, though. But yeah, that's not a bad team. I really like her forwards. Like I said, she's got Brandon, Pascal, and Lauri. And those are really solid players, along with Trey Murphy III. That's the core of her team that's really, really badass. So yeah, Cool Cat, I like your team. Your team, just like Fiercey's, is a likable team, a team that I very much like. And Fiercey I think I still like Fiercey's team better just because some of the players on her team I was like, wow, she got this player and this player. She went and got Chris Boucher and a couple other people, former Raptors on her team. So, but yeah, your two teams are my favorite teams so far. MJ and Cool Cat. My favorite two teams right there, man. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Fiercely saying, welcome back, Danny the electrician, aka Click, and all the best vibes ahead. That's right. Thank you. And Wayne saying, what does the next 3 weeks look like, Lex, before official NBA season? Man, there's not 3 weeks before the NBA official season. We're starting a week from this Wednesday, guy. Yeah, we're going to play these 3 games this week. Washington today, Boston on the 15th on Wednesday, and Brooklyn on 17th on Friday. And then we'll take the weekend off, and then we come back the Wednesday after that. So we are officially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days away from the regular season. 10 days, Wayne, from the regular season. So there's no weeks to go. We got a week and a half. And then we'll hit the ground running in Atlanta, playing the Atlanta Hawks in the opening game of our season for the 2025-2026 NBA regular season. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! So, yeah, 3 games this week, just like 3 games last week. And then we take 4 days off between that Brooklyn game on Friday night, and then we play on Wednesday. That Wednesday, we play Atlanta. That's right. And then we go right away to come back here and play Milwaukee, the Bucks, on the Friday night after that. And then we got a Texas two-step on Sunday, Monday, October 26th and 27th, going down and playing the Mavericks and the Spurs on a Sunday and a Monday. So, yeah, we got this is coming quick, man. This is coming quick, man. It's crazy. Cool Cat saying DeAndre Ayton was for rebounds, blocks, and alley-oops. Yeah, he'll get you some good stats as long as he's not hurt and as long as he's not in a doghouse for some reason. I think it's really bad look that this guy has not been working with them at all yet. And that's kind of messed up. The Lakers are not organized like we are. We just got to say that. They are not organized like we are. It's just true. Yeah. Fiercely saying Luka is involved and welcome dominating. La Diva is the problem. Lakers vibes minus 200. Maybe part of the reason why DeAndre said that is because LeBron's hurt now, right? LeBron's hurt, and maybe he just hasn't showed up to practice or anything. He's going to be out for a month now, right? So LeBron's out for the first month of the season already, is what I'm hearing. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to try and drop Jalen Suggs? I wouldn't try and drop him. I would try and trade him. You could trade him, or I just don't like him myself. If you like him yourself, you could get him use out of him. He's not a bad player. It's just that to me, he's the epitome of a guy who has a lot of his intangibles and the things that are great about him don't translate to fantasy because it's like hustle, it's hard toughness, it's like dogged defensive stuff. Maybe he'll get you steals, he'll hit some threes here, but in some ways he's not a true point guard, so he's not going to get a whole lot of assists. So it's just weird. Some players are good fantasy players. Like Sean Marion was one of the greatest fantasy players ever in the history of the NBA because Sean Marion would get every single category filled up for you every single night. And some guys are just the opposite. They just don't stat stuff. They just don't do a whole lot. They do more on energy expenditure and defense. And I feel like Suggs is like that. I think that they overrate Suggs so many different ways. I feel like so many people in Raptors Nation overrate him. Like, seriously, he's not anywhere near what Scotty is. And the fact that that was even a debate at the beginning of Scotty's career is so stupid. Like, anybody who's still holding on to Jalen Suggs over Scotty Barnes, you're fucking crazy. You are crazy. You're crazy. I would try and trade him. He's too valuable to just drop on the waiver wire. You gotta try and trade him. But you could just drop him if you want to, but you're gonna lose some of that value from that draft pick, from the draft. Fiercely saying it, Cool Cat, drop him like he's hot. Lex, I did what you suggested, and I hadn't seen TJ was injured the day you posted it. I put him on my IL and picked up Gabe Vincent. That's good management. That's it right there. You got that open spot. Go get the next best point guard that's on the waiver wire because TJ McConnell's going to miss the beginning of the season. Yeah, good stuff, Fiercey. Good stuff. All right, let's keep going with our tabs. We're going to Raptors Reddit now. Raptors Reddit is introducing us to the NBA graphic that will never be topped. Dick grown 1 inch. Yeah, this is crazy, man. There is a graphic out yesterday that is saying that Grady Dick has grown from 6'6" to 6'7", and that the dick has grown 1 inch. I know. This is so cheap. And, immature people are going to love this and just love this kind of graphic. So this is the winner. This is the best. Let's see what some of the comments are about this. Let's see the degenerates with their jokes. We cannot escape the 6'7" meme either. Every game he plays on hardwood is what somebody said. That's a really bad joke. He plays so tough, just going at the rim every time he can. Oh my gosh, these people. That's some big dick, is what somebody just said here. He has become more erect. Man, they just asking for this, making a graphic like that. Hope we'll get to see Dick take it to the hole more often this year. We've heard that one before. We've heard that one before. Yeah, all right, enough of this. Enough of this, Raptors Reddit, you degenerates. You degenerates. Here they are with the coach, Darko, saying this. This is going to be my 29th year entering as a coach. I will tell you one thing. I've never been around the group like this group over here, and I don't just mean the players. I mean everybody over here. Now, see what the Raptors Reddit are reacting to Darko's open gym moment. This is where the guy said, Darko's 46 years old, and my math is right. That means he's been coaching since he was 18. Yeah, and they're like, whoa, why is that about? That's why I was mentioning that earlier. Why? Because he's a really short guy. It's not like Darko's really tall. And, you know, there were other coaches that were on our staff, like Trevor Gleason, who from Australia. He was a player, but he got a really bad injury to his back, and he had to retire as a player at that point. You know, Darko has his reasons for not going the player route because he just wasn't a good player. He didn't have natural talent in a basketball way, but he loved the sport of basketball still. So he did what he could, and he became a coach and a student of the game. And somebody said on here, dude has a degree in basketball, okay? This is what I'm saying, man. And some of the fans are saying from the Darko and the Bobby speech, they're saying they'd run through a brick wall after listening to his speech. There you go. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Darko's going to prove something to people. And like I said, it's very likely he could win Coach of the Year this year because he's coming from nowhere, and everybody's going to be like, holy shit, the Raptors aren't supposed to be this good. They're going to look at the coach, and they're going to give him that. They're going to give him that. All right, there's Raptors Reddit reactions for today. Talking about Grady. Yeah. Pause. That's what I say. Just like Brandon. Pause on that. Trevor J saying City of Chicago banned ICE agents from entering restaurants, bars for food and water when they're not allowed. Yeah, I don't want to talk politics, man. Really don't right now. I applaud and support the people that are resisting the ICE problems right now in the United States. And yeah, I don't want to talk about this, man. I don't want to talk about this. This makes me sad and depressed, Trevor. The fucking weird ass fucking world we live in right now. Let's see. What do we have next? Well, I guess we can go ahead and go do the classic card of the day. We're kind of getting out of stuff. I could talk more about the game and talk about how we could win it. Okay, we'll do this one. This one, all right. I'll bet Slug Deezy, if he is here, he's going to get this one. If not, we'll see if Reggie gets it. All right, full name answer, please, on the classic card of the day. Not very classic, though. Not very classic. This guy is not on the Kings anymore. I mean, the Rockets anymore. I don't believe he is. Could be, though. Full name answer on the classic card of the day. It's a pretty recent card, though. Not very old. If you can tell who that is, let me get it up close. Full name answer. Do not give me half his name. Somebody might seagull it from you in that case. Any guesses? I'll give you clues on his name if you give me some guesses. I could give you some clues on a surname or something like that. There you go. Fiercey got it. She didn't spell his name right, but that's fine. Jae'Sean Tate is right. Yeah, Jae'Sean. Jae apostrophe Sean Tate. Yeah, there you go. All right, Fiercey. That's a tough one. I'm going to give you 150 for that one because I feel like he's, you know, he's kind of not really made the league, but kind of has. I don't know. I feel like he hasn't really made the league. He's kind of been half out. I mean, the Rockets teams that he was on were so bad. In some ways, that tells you he shouldn't have even been in the league. I mean, he was one of those guys that was not taking things seriously on the Rockets, and that's why he's moved on, I think. That's right. Most giving me my cutoff. Yeah, that's all good. James, you got in there a little late. W Stream, W Vibes, Lex. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Crew Strong forever. Just help me limit the comments. Notice you went 3 hours yesterday. Cerise happy for Bobby and sad Messiah's out. Yeah, I think that's common for everybody. And that may have been one of the weird moments of seeing Bobby Webster address the team ahead of training camp like that. Because that's, like I said, that would have been Messiah's moment to be inspiring for everybody. Bobby may not be inspiring or like that gravitas and that kind of like, you know, way, but he has his own way of inspiring. And I think he's just no bullshit. What you see is what you get. I'm just going to cut it to you the way it's supposed to be. And well, if you listen to me, you'll have a future here. If you don't, well, I might have to trade you. And that's kind of what I got from Bobby's energy when we was saying. And that those guys need to listen to him when he steps up there. He didn't have a whole lot to say, but put that shit in your head and say, this is what the GM of this team just said about how to stay on this team, or how to survive and do really well in this ecosystem. I'm going to take it to heart, and I'm going to imprint it, and I'm really going to keep in mind what Bobby said. This is what I care about. Because, I mean, that'd be smart if you want to stay a Raptor. That's for sure. That's right. That's for sure. Fiercely saying uncommon name. Yeah, it's an uncommon name. Jay Sean Tate. Yeah, Trevor's saying Raptors win by 40 today. I don't mind that. I don't know if that'll be exactly right. I think if I'm looking at a score, if you really want me to guess the score, I think we win not by over 20. I think we'll win by like 10 or 12. And the reason why is because we're going to be playing youngsters against youngsters. And we may win because we figured it out and we just have a lead and we're better, but I don't know if we'll rout them. I think that their talent is pretty good, and they have a bunch of young players that are, they could be pretty good, but I'm just saying I don't have faith in the organization as a whole in Washington. So I think that the battle will be interesting. It could be very similar to the Celtics game in some ways on Friday night, where the young Celtics were playing. None of their they didn't have any older players playing hardly at all for the Celtics other than Chris and Peyton. And, we'll see Chris Middleton maybe today, maybe not. We'll see CJ McCollum, maybe not. And maybe we see all young guys, and it's just them running around with Corey Kispert and his goofy headband. I don't know. I would say that if it's going to be a battle of youngsters versus youngsters, the game could be a lot more even than a 40-point rout. That's what I'd say to that. Yeah. Wayne saying final roster spot decision by next week, early then. What are our expectations for play-in tournament? Personally, I want to leave the play-in just as a gauge, no expectations. Yeah, I mean, a play-in tournament is not where we're trying to get to at the end of the season. We're trying to get straight playoffs. If you mean in-season tournament, yeah, we need to win in the in-season tournament. Our group is not that bad, and we're going to get in-season tournament games almost right away. Our first in-season tournament game is on Halloween, guys, and it'll be against the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. So that may be the toughest in-season tournament game that we've got, and it'll be right away on Halloween night. We'll be playing for in-season tournament. Yeah. But no, we don't want playing. We want a straight playoff spot at the end of the year. G saying, go Raptors, go Jays. Congratulations to Danny on the electrician stuff. It's really good. Enjoy your day, everyone. That's right, man. Yeah, I mean, these trades guys are smart. We're going to need these kind of jobs no matter what. They're not going to go anywhere with AI. Seriously. So it's very, very smart of Nameless and Click to get these occupations going in the last few years, because seriously, these are jobs that will always have work. There's always going to be needs for plumbers and electricians until they got a robot that comes to your house to do it. These guys are going to be working. The other jobs are going to go wayside, and a lot of them will have to do with computers, and it sucks. It's going to be really fucked up time, seriously. But yeah, that's a good, smart decision by Danny and what he's done. Really, really smart, man. Really, really smart. Let's see. James is saying, Lex, do you think Cam Whitmore will have a breakout season with the Wizards? He could. He could. I mean, he's added to that whole little contingency of good first, second, and third year players on the Wizards now. But there's so many of them. That's another problem, too. Some of the issues that Thunder are going to have with their young core with paying everybody in the next couple of years. Well, the Wizards, if they really want to get all these guys up to being top players, they're going to have tough decisions on who to keep also, because they're all right around the same age group. That's why I always thought this whole idea of like being in the same age group is stupid. Like, oh no, Jakob's too old to be on a team with young guys. What? No, you got to understand, you need guys at different levels in their careers because there's different pay at different levels of the careers. And to make the jigsaw puzzle of the salary cap fit, you can't just have all young guys and all old guys, because think about it. When all your young guys mature at the same time, you can't sign all of them to the contracts you want to sign them to. So it's much better to stagger your talent in a couple of years after each other. It's like, okay, Scotty, Grady, Jacoby, and Jamal, Colin Murray Boyles. They're not all in the same draft class. And they'll hit at times when their rookie contracts end at different times. That's smarter than getting like a huge class of rookies all at the same time, like Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and whoever else they got that same year. Because they got a whole bunch of good players the year they got Chet. And that year, when these guys get onto their next contract, this is going to be tough times for the Thunder to figure it out. So the Wizards are in the same situation with so many young players right around the same age. Some people argue that's the same for us, but there's different levels of talent on our 5 rookies from last year. And not all of them are going to cash out at the highest level between all of them. In fact, maybe none of them cash out on a whole high level. Maybe Jacoby, maybe Jamal. But, you know, Colin Murray Boyles may cash out on a higher level from his rookie contract, and he's a year after them. So staggering things is way better. And I feel like the Thunder and the Wizards have too many players in the same age in the same year, and that'll fuck up your salary cap when that glut of talent comes up and they all need to get paid after their rookie contract. So that's kind of where I look at it. Cam Whitmore is going to just add to this problem. If he becomes a bust out this year and he's around the same year as them, well, we got to figure out, are we going to keep Cam? Are we going to keep Bilal? Are we going to keep Bub? Are we going to keep Keyshawn George? Are we going to keep Alex Sarr? Are we going to be able to keep all these guys? Probably not. Probably not. And they're going to have to make tough decisions. Some of them will be bust, and they'll be easy. Yeah, we don't want this guy. Yeah, we'll keep this guy, and we'll try and keep this guy. Oh, this guy doesn't want to be here. He's signing with somebody else. Oh, well, we don't get to keep this guy then. You know, stuff like that. Stuff like that. James saying, want to pick him up for fantasy if he's still available. Cam Whitmore might be still available. I'm not totally sure. I guess I can kind of go check, I guess. Let me go see. I'll go look for you real quick. I'll go look just real fast. Whitmore. Let me see. No, he's on a team. Andrew's got him on the Shamshays. So, yeah, he's already picked up. You can't get Cam Whitmore. He's not there. He's not there. Let's see. Kareem's here. Good to see Kareem Thomas, the full dunker. What's wrong with Shamshay? Is his injury still from last year? No, it's not his leg injury. It's a hand injury for Ulrich right now. It's minor. And I don't know why they're sitting him right now. In some ways, I'd like to see him play today. This would be a good game for him to play, the game today. Totally would be great to activate Ulrich and have him play against the Wizards today. I would love to see that. Kareem saying, what player or players do you want to see more from outside the starting lineup? Well, Shamshay. Sure, that's number one. I'd love to see Shamshay show up and play today. I would like to see Colin come right back and not miss anything. They're saying they're holding him out, precaution for his elbow. I'm like, okay, I guess, but we do want to see more Murray Boyles. I was wanting to see more of him on Friday night, but he got hurt early. I mean, I want to see more out of Elijah. Chucky's really shown stuff to me that is making me really realize, like, yeah, this guy's going to be really good for us. But yeah, these are the names probably. I want to see Shamshay, I want to see Murray Boyles, and I want to see Martin more. I want to see those 3 guys more today. Yeah, Wayne's saying, good call, Lex. I meant in season, not playing. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. I knew that you meant the in season. I was pretty sure because in some ways we're not aiming for that play-in. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we are not. All right, let's wrap it up. We'll wrap it up. We got 13 minutes until 2 hours, and we're definitely not doing a 4-hour stream like yesterday. We got sidetracked talking too much baseball and New York stuff yesterday. That, you know, we had the outcome on the lawsuit. So in some ways, we had to cover New York and Toronto a little bit more. And, well, we had some guests yesterday. We had some New York guests. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying we are definitely going to have all 3 All-Stars this season. I don't know if that's likely. Once again, the Raptors have never had 3 All-Stars in the history of our franchise. And it's probably not likely. No teams get 3 All-Stars unless they're the Celtics and the league's absolutely kissing their ass. The Lakers can get 3 All-Stars. But the Raptors aren't going to get 3 All-Stars. We'll get 2. If we get 3 All-Stars, the only way that happens is Scotty and Brandon are playing for USA teams and RJ is on the international team somehow. That's the only way that happens. But this is not likely. Trevor, you got to remember, it's more likely that if we have a bunch of good players, they'll cancel each other out and they won't give us any All-Stars. So if we're at the top of the Eastern Conference, if we're a top 3 Eastern team when they're voting for All-Star, that's the other thing that'll get us 2 All-Stars, and that's it. And it's probably going to be Scotty and Brandon. It's probably going to be Scotty and Brandon. It probably will be them. That's what I'm thinking right there. Yeah. RJ has an outside shot to make that that world team. But think about this. The world team's only going to have 8 players, right? They're only going to pick 8 international players. Who are the 8 best international players in the league that are probably going to be on that team? Is RJ one of the top 8 international players? You got Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Luka. We know there's a lot of really good international players. SGA, will RJ figure into the top 8 international players? Probably not. And it's not likely. If they don't give him any respect or publicity already, why the fuck is he going to make the All-Star team, guys? Seriously, he's going to have to force them to put him on the All-Star team. And he wants to do that. He said publicly, it's like, yeah, whatever the format is, I just want to play in it, is what he said in the preseason already. So, yeah, let's see. Trevor's saying Cleveland had 3 last year. Yeah, but they also had 60 wins last year too. And they were up at the top of the division. So you have to be all the way at the top. And not only do you have to be at the top, you have to be like head and above the top. And Cleveland had a year like that last year. They had a year like that. Once again, our history has never had 3 All-Stars. And they're going to begrudgingly give us just 1. The hell, they go all out and give us 3? There's no way that happens this year, guys. As much as I want that to happen, I wish it to happen. If it happens, I'll be like, damn, okay, good. It did happen. It's not that I'm against it happening. I'm just being realistic here, man. You know that Scotty made the All-Star team just because as a replacement 2 years ago, and he didn't even make it this year. So it's like, we can't do this, man. We can't do this. What, did he make it this year? I don't even remember. He made it as a replacement the year he made it. He didn't even get voted in. So it's a messed up thing, man. Danny's saying this. Feels like our team has a different energy this season in a positive way. I feel the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lack of motivation or drive, just something missing, I feel. I wouldn't say in the last 2 years. Man, go back to Nick. You can say that, but not with the Raptors under Darko. Darko set a tone immediately when he came in, and it's been the same in the last 2 years since he's been in charge. So I wouldn't say that. Even though our records weren't that great, we were in a transitory period of going from one era into the Scotty era. And, there's learning troubles and struggles, beginner struggles for a new coach like Darko. And the roster wasn't healthy, too. We got to say that for the last 2 years, the first year of the Darko coach, we flipped the roster completely at halfway through the season. And then the second year of Darko, we couldn't keep the starters healthy on the floor. So it's tough to say that. I think the effort's been all out the whole time. I wouldn't say it's the effort. I just say that we haven't had the best luck, and we've been in a transitory rebuild right now. And we're starting to see the signs of we're going to get more success this year in this rebuild starting this year. And that's what I want to see right there. I wouldn't say there's ever been a lack of motivation or drive. These guys are going all out. And the way they play on defense shows it. That's right. Fiercely saying, I think last year's injuries derailed the course of the action. Yes, exactly. But I can relate to what Click says under Nick Nurse. Yeah, I think that's what Click's remembering is the end of the Nick Nurse era. It was exactly like that, a lack of motivation or drive. But that was when OG and Pascal were still on our team. And it wasn't their fault. I mean, maybe there was a little bit of lack of motivation on OG Anunoby's part in the end for the Raptors. Siakam played all out right up until the end. And Freddie, I mean, the writing was on the wall, these guys. They knew Scotty had came. He was a new player. Fred's getting put in the corner. And in some ways, they're like, yeah, we understand. We're probably on our way out. Just go ahead and trade us and move us out. So there's a lame duck period where they know they're leaving, but they still play for the team for a little while. And that's really was that last little part with those guys was. And, you can't blame Darko. In some ways you could blame Nick. You could blame Nick because he kind of ran the team spirit into the ground with his bullshit his last season coaching us. He really did. He was horrible for morale that last year. So it's like we flipped the switch when we hired Darko, and the morale on the team instantly went up. So that's a big part of the difference between motivation and drive from 2 years ago before Darko showed up. But once Darko showed up, his orientation, learning the players, them learning him establishing things. But the motivation for these guys to do better and do well, as soon as Darko showed up, it was back. Nick may not have been doing a very good job of motivating them. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, that was by design so that he could get fired, so he could go work for Daryl Morey. Well, you get what you get, Nick Nurse. You get a toxic situation on a franchise that's floundering, and you don't get an easy golden path just out. When you sabotage your career in Toronto as a coach on purpose. He did that shit on purpose. And that's part of why there was a feeling of lack of motivation around our team for a little while at that period, because Nick was killing our team on the inside. And nobody actually realizes that. We knew it because we paid really, really close attention. That man had a goal to get to the Sixers at the beginning of the year. And he knew he had to make the team dysfunctional, fucked up on the down low, and lose and be unsuccessful. And DeAndre DeRozan's screams just happened to be convenient to help him totally submarine a play-in game against the Bulls and his last game coaching for the Toronto Raptors. Then after that, Masai's hands were tied, and he said, yeah, I have to fire you, Nick, because you didn't do what I asked you to do. So, because Nick was supposed to develop the young guys, and he played all of his starters way more, and he did not help us develop our young core coming up. So there's a lot of issues with what Nick did right before he left. And I think that's the feeling he's talking about right there. I think that's what he's talking about. Fiercely saying, you put out toxic, you will reap toxicity. No rewarding for malice or mischievous actions. It was just confusing. And the players kept talking about it. It's like, man, this team's just weird right now. I don't know what it is. I can't totally figure it out. And I was trying to figure it out. Was it Earl Watson and an issue that happened with him? Maybe he saw it on the inside and he said, yeah, Nick is trying to sabotage the team from the inside. And he became like an insurrectionist within the coaching staff of the Raptors. And that's why him and Nick Nurse have never spoken since or something like that. I don't know. Because it does seem like there was a huge falling out between Earl Watson and Nick Nurse the last year he coached, and that Earl Watson may have been this guy who's motivated to do well. And he was like, I don't like what you're doing, Nick. I see what you're doing. You're a fucking con artist. And on the inside, on his own staff, he was looking at him like that. But it's so toxic that even if Earl Watson thought maybe he could come in and get that spot after he left, it wasn't to be. No, you had to go. Griffin had to go. Everybody had to go except for Jim Sand and Eric Curry. They were the only two that were kept. So, yeah. All right, we're getting close. 4 minutes to go. Let me go on the rundown for what we have for today. Oh, guys, real quick, the Canadian goods, straight goods on Canadian goods. If you want to buy bottled water, don't buy Nestle. Don't buy any American companies. Buy Naya Waters. Naya, N-A-Y-A Waters. They are out of Canada, out of Quebec, 100% Canadian-owned spring water company with strong local sourcing and employment. So, yeah, buy Canadian 100% bottled water, Naya, N-A-Y-A. If you see it at the convenience store, you see it at the grocery store, that's the one you should buy. Don't buy the American water. Why? Don't do it. Support Canada. Canada has more water up here anyway. So buy our water up here in Canada. Naya Waters is the one I'm talking about today. All right, on their injury reserve, let me see. Injury list. Let's see if they've updated it at all since I've been talking. No, it's the same crap. They're just saying they got it all listed. Collins on here day to day, and Shamshay's on here day to day. And the other guys were out for rest from Monday's game, although they said Scotty was out for his knee and Pirtle was out for his back. Also, they're saying that Pirtle on the down low is fighting off sickness. He's been sick. And I think that's part of the reason why he hasn't been sitting on the bench is because he may be having the flu right now. So I think the chances of Pirtle playing today are very nil, James, just so you know. Coming back to your question, I don't think he's playing. On the other side of things, the Wizards are showing injuries to Bilal Coulibaly, who's out. AJ Johnson and Alex Sarr are day-to-day, so they may be possibly out. So, yeah, the referees for tonight, once again, we got Ray Acosta as our crew chief. He favors the Raptors. Dedrick Taylor is the referee. He favors the Raptors. And Matt Myers is the umpire. He favors the Raptors. In the replay center, it's Bill Kennedy, Carl Lane, and Mark Lindsay, who will be watching from Secaucus. All right, once again, I say Raptors. Just play solid together. Play your dedication to defense and what you're supposed to be doing on this defensive assignment for Darko now. This is a young team that's susceptible to turnovers. You guys could go for 40 turnovers tonight. That'd be fantastic. And you see you get 40 turnovers. You've been putting 30 turnovers on people. With the Wizards, you could maybe get 40 turnovers and get that transition game opened up real nice and have an easy way to win. Don't have to struggle with trying to hit outside shots if you just overpower defensively and run the ball back to dunks every single time. So, yeah, I want to see some of that Chucky Hepburn. I want to see that dogged defensive energy, Jared Rhoden, once again. And I want to see y'all, if you can route them, like Trevor Jay's saying, by 40, I won't be upset. But I think it's likely the Raptors will win by a 10 or a dozen today against the Wizards. That's my prediction. So it's like really get on these young players that are suspicious with their ball handling and make them cough up the ball. Trap them at half court, just like you've been doing in this preseason so far. Well, it's the Wizards. You're going to have a lot of success doing that today. And that should be enough to win right there. And I don't care who shows up and plays for the Raptors. It doesn't matter who plays today. We're going to kick their ass no matter what. That's what I say to that. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream. Getting done right at 2 hours. Look, I can be professional and get the show done in the time frame and the framing of the time when I want to. So let's go Raptors. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's beat the Mariners tonight. Let's go Toronto. Let's go Canada. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow on the reaction. Remember, you can call me tomorrow during the reaction. Let's go Raptors.